Ooh. Hello, welcome to my humble home. Girl, just kidding, this is my daddy's house. Can I cross my legs? That's tight. Today we are in the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains of Southwest Virginia. And for my foreign audience, welcome to today's episode of Places in America You Didn't Know Existed. It's really pretty though. It snowed last night a little bit, so the trees are all frosty. Frosty. I have just come home from Brazil. I don't want to talk about it. Too soon. It was like a blur, just so fast, and it was just like a dream. For this video, we're gonna do a simple one about comparatives and superlatives. And this is basic general grammar that also confuses native speakers if we think about it too much. Perfeito, ne? Is it his teeth are yellower than mine or his teeth are more yellow than mine? Which one's correct? Exactly, you have to think about it. By the way, brush your teeth. Okay, I'm gonna break this video.
I'm gonna break it down.
I'm gonna break this video down into 3 parts because comparison grammar is syllabic. Excuse me, what did you call me? No, we have rules, or we decide how to form comparison structures based on the amount of syllables that are in the adjectives or adverbs we're using to compare. I'm gonna subtitle that because that was a lot of information. What's a syllable again? A syllable is a small unit of sound that makes up a word. Got it? Great. In the word extra is 2 syllables. Extra. In the word voluptuous, we have 4 syllables. Voluptuous. Voluptuous. And like I kind of alluded to before, today we're going to talk about making comparative and superlative structures, mostly focusing on adjectives, but this applies to adverbs as well. Oh my god, by the way, I painted all of those in high school. Hi, my name's Mike. I like warm colors. Hey. All right, let's start with a simple comparison. Mike is taller than Tad. We're comparing 2 things, 2 people here. Okay, where's my adjective? Tall. Because tall is 1 syllable, tall. We add ER to it. Or if it's a superlative, we add EST to it. This is simple, basic grammar, right? We know this. And the superlative, Mike is the tallest, EST. Mike is the tallest person in the room. These are not accurate examples. I'm 5'7". So for comparatives, we use either ER or we have to add a more, less to the word. For superlatives, we use EST or we have to use most or least. Okay, moving on. When I teach this lesson in class, I divide the board into 3 parts. So let's do that virtually because we're digital natives. The 3 sections of your notes should be 1-syllable rules, 2-syllable rules, and then 3-syllable rules. But here's a little tip, leave a lot of space for that 2-syllable section because we're going in today. We're going in detail. He's prepared. 1-syllable rules. Okay, we got this, fam. Add ER or EST. Done. We're gonna focus on the exceptions here. Oh, you thought you could just follow that rule forever? Welcome back to reality. Well, of course, we have the main irregulars, good and bad, right? I think you got that. So then we have to add to the irregular list, right, wrong, real, and far. Look at, these are all adjectives, but you have to add more or less to these, least or most, except for far. Far has 2 options. You can say farther or you can say further with a U. Now, I was thinking about it and I'm like, which one do I use? I'm American, so I think I say further. You know, we like that really ugly sound. Hi, my name's Mike. I like ugly things. But then for 1-syllable adjectives, you have weird ones, kind of just irregulars like the word raw. Sorry. Grow up. For an adjective like raw, you have 2 acceptable forms. You could say rawer or you could say more raw. I could say this piece of fish is rawer than the last one. But when you say that and think about it, it's like, that sounds really weird. That's not easy. It doesn't roll off the tongue, you know? But if you hear a native speaker say this piece of fish is a little more raw than the last one, don't be surprised. We have two acceptable forms here, and we use two forms here. This isn't the only one, and this is actually, what I'm gonna say goes for all words in English. In English, for native speakers, when we come across an adjective that is kind of weird like this, you're gonna hear multiple things. If it's weird for us, then we're probably gonna use a different form. We can't handle our own language, sorry about it.
Ain't that some bull?
And finally, for one-syllable adjectives, participle adjectives. Remember, participles in English are the third form, that ed ending, or there's many irregulars. So for example, bored, scared, torn, all of these are participles. And when we use these as comparatives, they're one syllable, but they're irregular, so we have to use more or less. We can't use the er, est endings. Fortunately, if your speaking skills are high enough, you probably know a lot of this just intuitively. You can tell just by saying it. Okay, so let's go to two-syllable adjectives and adverbs. Oh God, where do I start? Okay, to make a comparative or superlative structure using a two-syllable adjective or adverb, there is no one rule you can follow for this group. Learn that immediately, okay? We're actually gonna divide this individual column into three separate groupings. Adjectives that use er or the est suffix, adjectives that use more, less, least, or most, and finally, adjectives and adverbs that can use both the er, est ending or the more, less, least, or most endings. And in this column, native speakers, fluent speakers will go back and forth. Let's start with the er, est endings. First group up, adjectives ending in y. That is a y. I'm double jointed, hi. Two syllables, lazy, easy, crazy. Oh, you think you know me? You're right. These are two syllables, but most of the time we use the er, est ending. Most of the time. Lazier, easier, crazier. Peep the spelling changes. Now, we don't always do it. Occasionally you'll hear us say like more lazy or more crazy, but we need some structure here. We're gonna put it in the first category here because generally this is where we use this ending. Let's go check on our girl, the second column. We need more, less, least, or most. Now, for this first grouping, we don't really have one common theme among them, so we're just gonna call them irregular two-syllable adjectives and adverbs. What do we got for him, Johnny? Well, these include special, modern, precious, famous, basic, complex. So for these, if you look at them, they're all two syllables, but you would never say basicer, complexer. You wouldn't say moderner or specialer. It doesn't work. So for these, we always use more, less, least, or most. Perfect. Unfortunately, there's a lot of them. This is not all of them, so this is a pretty big group. Can you think of any more? Comment below. So as you're studying your English, you'll come across more. Next. But then we do have some consistency in this group too. We have the FUL suffix. Hopeful, grateful, peaceful. There's more, two syllables, FUL, use more, less, least, most. Boom. And then the last column, words that use both options. The first category is W. Words ending in W. From the beginning, yellow, narrow, mellow. That means relaxed. The opposite of me. I'm very tense. Massage anybody? Just kidding, I'm very ticklish. Don't touch me. These can end in both. The driveway that leads to my beach house is narrower than the main road, so be careful. Or the driveway that leads to my beach house. What was the example? The driveway that leads to my beach house is more narrow than the main road. Both of these are acceptable, both of these are fine. In the books, it does say that we'll use the ER, EST ending more for these, but whether that's true, meh, I don't really know. It doesn't really matter because in your formal assignments, you can use both and it's fine. A lot of you guys preparing for tests and stuff, you're like, well, what will give me the points? On the test for this grouping, you can use both and it's fine. Whether that's true, meh, doesn't matter, doesn't matter, That's also a Janet Jackson reference. If you're subscribed to me, you're also responsible for learning your pop diva references. Thank you so much. Also, just to give you a little comfort, since I'm a grammar teacher, I am very aware of the language I use, the grammar I use, and I know for a fact that when it comes to this category, I go back and forth, so. And finally, for this group, we do have, similar to in the second category, a group of just irregulars that we go back and forth on. And there's no similarity in between these besides the fact that they have 2 syllables. Common, friendly, gentle, quiet, simple. I don't know why I did that, because that's always such a to edit. And if you play around with these, if you try and come up with examples, you'll see why it both sound totally fine. Like simple. I think it's simpler to just go to the movie first. I think it's just more simple to go to the movie first. Yeah, fine. Okay, so you can see for 2-syllable adjectives, it's not about one rule. It's about, let me look at my adjective, let me look at my adverb. Okay, what is the ending? What is the suffix? Is it irregular? Can it be both? There's a lot of things to think about. And then 3-syllable words or words that have 3 or more syllables. The obvious rule, you must use more or less, least or most. Violet Chachki is the most beautiful drag queen ever. Debatable, but beautiful is a 3-syllable adjective. I kind of like it with me up close here. Should I just sit right here? Just like this. Hey, how's it going? How are you liking the video so far? I'm having a great time. I really hope you are too. I guess we are doing an English teacher. I think your red dress is a little more promiscuous than the black one.
I think you're brave.
So wear the red one. Duh. Get it, sis? So we'll just talk about one category of irregulars for the 3+ syllable group. This is actually kind of cool. I think this is kind of interesting. Listen carefully. Adjectives that have both the un prefix and the y suffix can use the er or the est ending. What? I'm unhealthier than my brother. Unhealthy, 3 syllables. Un is the first suffix, y is the last suffix, but you can use both.
Trend alert!
Using er with 3-syllable adjective. Toot or boot.
Dude, I love it. She looks amazing.
All right, but let me clarify. For this group, it's not required that you use er or est. This category falls under the both category. You can use er or est, or you can use the more, less, least, most options. And because of that, you might hear both as well. So here's a few: unhealthy, unlucky, unlikely. You really got to think about, adding to this list. It's hard to think of more, but there are a few more out there. It's unique. Okay, we did it. Baby girl, I hope you got something out of this video because I can already smell it. It's gonna be like 6 days of editing. But in summary, comparative superlatives, it's like one of the most fluid, it's like one of the most fluid grammar lessons ever. Make sure to add that to the 2-syllable irregular list, okay? Fluid. Because yes rules, but even more so, yes exceptions, irregulars, and options. Gotta love how it keeps you on your toes. No? Nah? Oh, and one last thing. We did not cover every exception in this video, or irregular. Daddy ain't got time for that. But we do, Vivek from Scruff says, you're hot. This is the validation I live for. But we do live in this lovely age of the interwebs, the internet. Internetchi? Ne? I really need to stop doing that. I don't think I'm using that right. Brasileiros, pode confirmar. Obrigada. If you do come across a comparative situation, a superlative situation, and you're not sure, look it up. Google, but don't just Google passively. Check multiple websites, multiple sources, make sure they look like they're good websites, and you can also ask me. DM me or something and I'll check too. I'm sure on other English teaching YouTuber videos, you can ask those questions as well. You know, you have a lot of small creators out there, English teachers like me, who do like respond to their comments frequently. So use us and then make a decision based on that, because I know we don't all have access to the huge library of grammar books that I do. Dare I say, this was a well-written video. Don't know. Don't answer that, it wasn't a question. As the great Trixie Mattel once said, you didn't have to pop off, sis. Oh, sis, you snapped, sis. All right, but anyways, I will see you guys next time. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Make sure you ho 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 all the way to 2021. The only way to do it. Safely with a mask. Bye. Oh my God, Santa, stop. Camera's still rolling.